morning. So as you can see, I'm having my morning coffee. Now, is it more coffee or more creamer? Only time will tell, my friends. So today is shoulder day, but also after shoulder day, I'm gonna be working until midnight this entire week. I do get to still attend some of my classes, so that's nice, but gonna be long nights ahead. And this is gonna be for the next month, which, as Penn and Teller used to say, pardon my French here, but what he said really impacted me. There's nothing bullshit about having a job. So I'm not complaining that I'm working late. I just know that my sleep schedule is going to be a bit of a doozy, as some might say. I also appreciate the fact that my job trusts me with the task at hand that requires me to have to stay up until midnight. It's going to be a group effort, of course, but I was one of the people they picked, so I'm happy to know that. And as some of you know, I'm currently reading a book. I read books often, but right now, my main squeeze is the new Encyclopedia of Modern Bodybuilding. I want to actually get the original one. It's pretty cheap when I find it online, so I might pick that up. Just more of a collector's item than anything else. And to see where the information kind of differs, because I know there's supposed to be better, or at least, hi Jerky, newer information in this as opposed to the original one. But it would be nice to compare and contrast the original science with the newer science, and even comparing what it says here to the science that we have today. And there are some things I already noticed that are considered outdated, but still a very reliable source of information. So I'm excited to read through all of it. And yes, when I say I'm reading it, I don't just mean like I'm picking some slight moments. I'm going to read this thing from cover to cover, and it might take me a little bit to do. I read it bits at a time, but I am enjoying what I'm reading. I'm on page 72 out of 600 and something. Like, there are some parts of this that are just straight up pictures, so I'm not too concerned. But so far, so good. My favorite part of it is actually when it describes more the history of bodybuilding, and Arnold kind of had that in his other encyclopedia slash autobiography thing. Not Total Recall, the other one. Total Recall is also really good, even though I will say the audiobook kind of disappointed me, because the first chapter was read by Arnold, but immediately after that it was read by some other guy. And hearing someone say I, me, and things like that when they're talking about Arnold's life is jarring, especially since the first chapter is Arnold Schwarzenegger. The one fun thing I am doing to pass the time is actually watching the entirety of the Generation Iron filmography. Now, obviously, I've seen the original one, even though I did buy a copy of the DVD recently because I want to rewatch it and kind of reflect on it, because I watched Pumping Iron again, just to kind of compare the two, because I know there is an actual Pumping Iron 2, which is about the female bodybuilders, and I have seen that before, and it was pretty good, but the original Pumping Iron just holds up so well, and I think a lot of that comes down to the conflict between Arnold and Lou, and also just the behind-the-scenes stuff of bodybuilding in the 70s. And Generation Iron was also really good too, from what I remember. That's why I want to rewatch it, to see if I still think it holds up and not just nostalgia goggles. Because what made that interesting is just the behind the scenes of more modern bodybuilding. I know that was like what 2013, so it's not modern anymore, but the behind the scenes of the modern Olympia mixed with the conflicts between Kai Green and Phil Heath, as well as the behind the scenes of all the other bodybuilders, was fun to watch. And I've seen Generation Iron 2, which was fine. It felt more like a YouTube video than it did a documentary. Never seen Generation Iron 3, so I have to catch up on that. And I've never seen Generation Iron 4 either. And I know Generation Iron 4 is now streaming on Amazon, so I can at least catch it on there. And they also made a Column movie. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but you know who I'm talking about. The Australian dude. And I've been a fan of his. He's really cool. He seems like a chill guy, very motivational. And obviously it sucks what happened to him. So I'm hoping the movie reflects on that, see how he recovers and all the things that he's been going through. I don't know how recent that one was, but there's also the Raw story, which I think is about Chris Bumstead. And there's the Rich Piano Chronicles, which I have watched, and the C.T. Fletcher movie. I liked that a lot because C.T. Fletcher's such an over the top guy that can't take your eyes off him. I think they also made a Lee Priest documentary. I'd have to double check because I'm not 100% sure. I know they have a list of all the things they produced over the years, so I'm going to have to look at that. I'm basically going to go through it, just be like, okay, saw this, saw this, saw this, saw this. Just go through them all and just make my ever-expanding list of movies I've seen even longer than it already is. Especially since I'm someone who loves watching new movies, not necessarily new in terms of recently released, but new for me as in I haven't seen them yet. And especially since a lot of these documentaries might include information and perspectives that don't match someone else's, just to kind of compare and contrast, make one of those like, you know, conspiracy like line things, like that one meme from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, just looking at it, be like, okay, this equates to this, but this also contradicts this idea. You know what I mean? That'd be kind of fun to see. What information does one bodybuilder have that connects with another, but also maybe even learning from a powerlifter and a strongman that can equate to mass plus strength plus hypertrophy plus all that stuff. And I think they also did a couple MMA documentaries, because I know the guy who directed Generation Iron did one, but I don't know if that was produced by Generation Iron, if you catch my drift. Still gonna watch it, still gonna check it off the list, because like I said, he did a good job at directing the first Generation Iron. So it will be interesting to see him handle something like mixed martial arts or martial arts in general, especially since I plan on training in martial arts again very soon, as in within the next couple weeks, because I love martial arts. I took a step back from it from a little bit just to focus a little bit more on this, but I miss training kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, and judo, especially since I tell people, if you're going to learn anything, learn how to protect yourself. Especially in the world of bodybuilding, whenever people see a big, jacked, or athletic looking guy, they say, but can he fight? So learn how to fight. Not because you want to square up with those people, but to just kind of prove them wrong and say, yeah, I have a black belt in judo, kung fu. I know kung fu doesn't have belts. Jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai also doesn't have belts. But you catch my drift, right? So just kind of do it, just be like, yeah, I can do this too. Have a wide skill set. Maybe this is my actor side coming out, but in acting, they want you to have a variety of skills. Obviously, acting being the first and most important one, but also to be able to handle yourself hand to hand, so that way if you have to do a fight scene, you don't look like you're cutting between 17 different edits. And also, the skill of self-defense is highly important, because you never want to actually have to be in that situation, but if you are, you gotta know how to do it. Sort of like when I tell people about learning how to use a gun. Once you learn how to properly handle a firearm, the last thing you ever want to do in your life is to actually have to use it. Obviously, it's fun shooting at a range, but you never want to pull out the gun and just have to use it on someone. That is the one thing you beg to never happen. But when you have to, sometimes life isn't fair. So, as you can see, we are finally getting some nice weather out. Almost feels like spring. Favorite time of year is autumn, for obvious reasons. But, unfortunately, can't experience it too much, but I'll enjoy what I can. But right now, let's get to the gym.
So before we started our workout, I did some mobility drills for my shoulders. Also did some cardio, but I didn't record that. But I wanted to make sure my shoulders were nice and warm. And to start the actual workout, I did some side lateral raises with the cable, and I have done these before, but this cable machine in particular felt way more difficult. As you can see, that's not a lot of weight. That was only 20 pounds, but you can see in my face and my other arm, I am just begging for mercy. Even on this other side here, the grip I have, not just on the cable, but on that bar there, is so firm that this just felt way heavier than I was anticipating. I mean, look how much effort I'm putting into that. Maybe it's because I'm not used to doing it with cable or the pulleys are just less with this one, but it felt good. And then I supersetted that with these rows. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. I've been doing these more and more. This one was more rear delt activation. Like I said, I want to get a little bit more rear delt work as I'm going through this. I really want to get them puffed out more. And then after I was finished with that, I went on to some front raises with the cable. Now, this didn't feel as bad as I am a little bit stronger with this. And as you can see, there is plenty of proper control. I'm not really jerking this all around. I'm just going slowly up and bringing it back down at my own pace. Not really letting the weight bring itself down, but I myself am the one bringing that cable down. Followed by the front raises, I did some rear delt face pulls. Now, I know I said I like to do these as a warm-up, but I kind of mixed it up today just to shock the muscles, as Rich Piana might have put it. And these are just great workouts. As you can see, I'm using a lot of my delts and my back and my traps. Just an all-around great workout. Followed by some overhead dumbbell presses. Now, these ones I had to go a little bit lighter because my overhead press is still in its practicing phase. I can do pretty good reps with the 50s, as you can see here, and I felt the pump really well. I didn't do the Arnold press today at all. I just did standard, and maybe next time I'm going to do some barbell presses as well, but I feel as though the range of motion I get with the dumbbells is just better. After which I did the rear delt lateral raises, and I did them with more weight this time, like I said I was going to do. 15 pounds, and I really, really felt it here. This was a great way to end my shoulder workout, and I don't know if I'm going to do every shoulder workout ending with these, but I feel as though I just might, or some form of rear delt activation to end the workout all around because it just feels good.
And so that wraps it for the shoulder workout. But unfortunately, I can't call it a day because I got that midnight shift. And hopefully, I'll catch y'all at the end of it.
Made sure to get in early so I could make my protein drink before work too. Tasted good.
Made it home. It's funny, I got a soft drink out of there, but that's actually a glass cabinet. But anyways, today's work shift wasn't so bad, if I'm gonna be real. It's not an alcoholic drink, don't worry, I'm straight edge, but it was nice because we got way more done than we were anticipating, and being able to just talk with the fellow coworkers who I don't get to talk to often was a lot of fun. We had some nice guy talk, talking about, oh, if someone were to give you blank amount of money, would you quit your job? And that actually opened up a pretty interesting discussion. Not going to go too deep into that, but made you think about things a little bit. Talked about the Batman series. I said I wish they would re-release Arkham Origins because that's actually my favorite one. And no, it's not because Roger Craig Smith voices Batman, who's also the voice of Sonic. It's because, I don't know, I remember going to the midnight release of that and just having a lot of fun, then coming home and playing that all night when that came out. I think it's very underrated. I've been playing a lot of older games recently too, or is it considered older now? Rayman Legends. I got it for like a couple bucks. I already had it for the Wii U. Yes, I have a Wii U. But it was a few bucks on the PS4, so I figured why not play it again? It's a lot of fun. One of the best 2D platformers of all time. I still need to play Origins though, because some people think that's better. I don't know, I haven't played it, but I do love Legends. I also got Quake 2 at the same time. I remember playing that a while ago, but I don't know. Quake, to me, didn't hit like Doom did, pardon me. And I think the reason I like Doom is because it has that kind of pseudo-horror atmosphere with, fighting demons in hell with the heavy metal soundtrack. And I know the first Quake is essentially an unofficial Doom sequel, and then Quake 2 is the one that made it more of an intergalactic threat, not like a cult threat, if I know the plot of Quake 1, which I really don't. But yeah, I'm excited to play through Quake 2, especially since the Platinum Trophy on that is really easy to get. What I want to do is I want to get the Platinum on that, get the Platinum on the first Quake, then play through all the Crysis games because I have all three of those now. I know getting the Platinum for Rayman Legends will probably take a while because get the max level of awesomeness is a nightmare to get. So maybe I'll try for that. I saw the guide for it and I was like, wow, you really have to know what you're doing to get that one, but I'm not too worried about that right now. Still playing through Turbo Overkill, having a lot of fun with that. It's one of those games where there's a lot of things I'll nitpick about it, but my brain just says, you gotta keep playing it, you gotta keep playing it, you gotta keep playing it. And I think that might have to do with me just being excited for Doom the Dark Ages, because Doom 2016, Doom Eternal, awesome, awesome games, and Turbo Overkill is kind of like my appetizer for Doom the Dark Ages. And I'm excited to, and Jerky is excited for Doom the Dark Ages too. She just said it, you heard her. She's excited to play a more grounded Doom game, I'm sure, just like I am. Not grounded in terms of a realistic story, but more like grounded gameplay style as opposed to the more platform heavy versions of Doom Eternal, Shadow Warrior 3, and Turbo Overkill. There was another something kill game that came out around the same time as Turbo Overkill, similar atmosphere to it. I forget what it's called. I also want to play this other game called Nightmare Reaper. That looks like a lot of fun. It's like a first-person roguelike RPG, and it has like levels where you upgrade yourself by playing a Mario-inspired platform level. Looks like a lot of fun. Maybe I'll get to that one day too. But hopefully these next few weeks of closing down at midnight are as smooth as today was. Everyone else said that they, pardon me, wanted to go home, play some video games, watch a movie, do all that stuff, and then go to sleep. Myself, I think I'm just going to take my chamomile tea, lie down, and just let myself go to sleep so I can be up as early as possible. I don't like staying up too late. I like being up at a reasonable time, getting my day done, and I know I'm not going to be able to do all the fun stuff that I would like to do, or fun stuff as in, play some video games or watch a movie, or, like I said, watch a Generation Iron film, but I don't know, I just rather be done and be up early and get my day started so that way I can get to the gym on time, get some practice in maybe, apply for some more agencies, stuff like that. But overall, I had a great night. It was nice to just talk with the fellow employees, have some fun, have some food. We got a lot of work done today, and that was impressive. Didn't get too distracted, which was nice. And hopefully, like I said, the next few weeks are about the same.